All right, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel, and today I got some great news for you. The market is doing really well, and there's really great news all around with Ethereum, various altcoins, although most people are selling them for Bitcoin and or Ethereum right now. Right now, it's definitely about that Bitcoin as PayPal removes waitlist for new crypto services and boosts weekly purchase to 20,000. So this wasn't supposed to come out for a little while. Initially, the PayPal news came out and really only 10% of PayPal users could actually buy Bitcoin with it. However, that news pushed Bitcoin to the $15,000 and $14,000 range. And now this news has pushed it over the $16,000 range. So we're actually really close to that 20,000 mark. And when we're at that 20,000 mark, who knows what's going to happen? Is it going to boost past that, or are people going to sell off? Either way, it's been about 3 years since we've been at this point in cryptocurrency. So, all eligible PayPal account holders in the US can now buy, hold, and sell cryptocurrency. The company announced Thursday. The firm also increased the amount of crypto that users can purchase in a week. PayPal confirmed its crypto plans in a October 21st announcement, and that was the first announcement that really pushed Bitcoin over the limit. And that, along with Grayscale buying $6 billion worth of Bitcoin and $7.3 total billion worth of cryptocurrency, along with some other institutions and various companies selling off everything for Bitcoin, has pushed it over the limit that we haven't seen in pretty much, call it, 3 years. That sent shockwaves across the industry, and during the firm's most recent earnings call on November 2nd, CEO Dan Schulman said only 10% of PayPal customers in the U.S. had access to the crypto service at the time. Citing steep demand, the publicly traded payments giant upped its weekly crypto purchase limits from 10,000 to 15,000 at the time, and said remaining U.S. customers would get access to crypto in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So it is about that time. However, PayPal said that starting 2021, the first quarter or so, that's when all of their clients, etc., that accept PayPal will start being able to actually accept Bitcoin, which will essentially get converted into fiat money, and on the other end, you'll just have your PayPal money, and that's when the real things will begin. They also sort of teased additional features down the road, but I can see why they're starting it this way, with a very simple process of just buying the Bitcoin and holding it on PayPal for now, because they sort of have to do baby steps along the way. Now, again, it's definitely not decentralized in any way, shape, or form, and you're still not really holding your Bitcoin, because not your keys, not your Bitcoin. However, news is news, and this is, definitely a huge step in the cryptocurrency world to begin actual payments to vendors in some way, shape, or form, particularly vendors who had never previously accepted Bitcoin, because they're still accepting fiat. It's just getting transferred along the way, which is a reasonable idea. And at least it might get people thinking about cryptocurrency. It might get PayPal users that may never have thought about buying crypto to now actually start buying it. So by acting so quickly and raising the purchase limit yet again, PayPal is clearly finding a warm reception for its crypto offering. So they started at 10,000. There was so much demand. 10,000 just wasn't enough. I mean, to be totally honest, you can't even buy a full Bitcoin with 10,000. So they raised it to 15,000. So that kind of looks like you can buy a full Bitcoin, at least at the time, or close to it. And due to initial demand from our customers, we've also increased our weekly crypto purchase limit from 10K to 20K. And then now you can buy well over 1 Bitcoin. However, with the price of Bitcoin rising so quickly, it seems like eventually you're not going to be able to buy a full Bitcoin if it goes over 20,000, which is kind of looking likely. Now, the big question is December. The month of December has always been sort of a wacky month for cryptocurrency. Either cryptocurrency goes through the roof, like 2017, and several other years before that. If you kind of look at the charts and study the month, December was always a pretty good month for crypto, apart from December of 2018. That was a really, really bad month. However, it just goes to show that the next year it was the complete opposite, and it was a bad month. we'll have to see what is December actually going to bring us. And now that Black Friday isn't really a thing, is that going to affect the crypto market? I mean, Black Friday is still going to be a thing, but with the whole coronavirus, not many people are going to malls, not many people are going to, actual retailers. They're all going to be buying online. So is that going to affect people's money for Bitcoin? It's hard to say. So December is going to just be up in the air. Is it going to increase the price, or is it going to savagely decrease the price? And I can see it actually happening both ways. It's a good time to be investing, and at the same time, it's a good time to be selling your crypto for Christmas gifts and things like that in the holidays. Plans to bring crypto services to Venmo and international customers in the first half of 2021 remain unchanged. So when Venmo comes out, that's going to be another huge boon to the cryptocurrency industry. The service comes by way of a partnership with Paxos, a registered fintech firm based in New York that will handle all the crypto custody on PayPal's behalf. So it's essentially Paxos buying the cryptocurrency and then holding it. And then when you pay for it, you're just sort of paying for Paxos on behalf, and you're just buying a portion of what Paxos already has. However, when more and more people come in, and obviously they've had to raise the limits from 10 to 15,000 to now 20,000, and when more and more people buy it, Paxos themselves are going to have to hold additional Bitcoin as well. PayPal's crypto service initially supports Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, and Litecoin, but only with limited functionality. And some critics, some have criticized the firm for its restrictive approach. According to PayPal's cryptocurrency terms and conditions, you currently are not able to send crypto assets to family or friends, use crypto assets to pay for goods or services, or withdraw crypto assets from your cryptocurrency hub to an external cryptocurrency wallet. So the idea there is that basically you have money in your PayPal account, and you simply buy Bitcoin with it. And then the Bitcoin is just sitting there. You can't transfer the Bitcoin away from PayPal. You can't give the Bitcoin to other PayPal users. And you can't actually spend it yet. That's not going to be until 2021, when all the vendors of cryptocurrency or vendors of PayPal are going to be able to accept that, and you'll be able to sort of send them Bitcoin, and it'll just automatically get transferred into fiat into their PayPal account or what have you, or their Visa or whatever their bank account. So right now, it's not doing too much good aside from the news is really important. The fact that this is a big step for cryptocurrency. So it's a small step for now. And so basically all you can do right now is hodl on PayPal. Now, PayPal is probably not the greatest place to hodl Bitcoin on, for sure. In fact, I'd probably rather hodl on pretty much probably like Coinbase Pro. If I was going to hodl on an exchange, that is, as opposed to PayPal, there are certainly better ways to hodl your cryptocurrency, for sure. But it's a good step, and I think someday they should add a public key to your PayPal, so that way you can send the cryptocurrency to others on PayPal. Because let's be clear about this, Paxos is holding the cryptocurrency. It's the same way on an exchange, where you do have a public key, and if you do sell that cryptocurrency, it essentially gets credited to somebody else's account. Like, let's say you go onto an exchange, you have one BTC, you buy a whole nother BTC, now you have two. But you don't really have your own private wallet. The exchange just credits you with a number that says 2 BTC. And then when you actually go to transfer it away from it, then they actually have to make a physical removal of the Bitcoin to you. So that would be the same thing with Paxos. So I don't know why they haven't yet. Maybe it would overwhelm their customer service or their systems, or they're working on programming that in, that you could have a public key and I could send PayPal Bitcoin to another user. Because it would just credit that other user with that Bitcoin now. It's not really transferring it on the blockchain. It's still Paxos is holding it until they actually remove it. So I'm sure that feature probably will come along at some point, but there's probably regulations and this, that, and the other thing going on with that. So Bitcoin price breaks 16,000 in sudden burst upwards. So we're now over 16,000. I think at the time of recording this, we're like 16,400 or something. It says over here 16,300. I don't know how updated that is, but last I seen it was like 16,400. The price has broken the 16,000 mark after a quick price surge. The current price of Bitcoin is now 16,141, according to the article, which was written several hours ago. The price has been accompanied by a surge of volume. According to Messari, Bitcoin's trading volume rose from 28 million to 176 million in the last 2 hours. So Bitcoin's price is now up 4% in the last 24 hours and 11% in the last week. It's leading the market with the most coins in the top 10, either slightly in the green or in the red. And somebody says here, Bitcoin has been above 16,000 for less than 2 weeks in its entire existence, as they tweeted there. So let's take a look at that. That's an interesting tweet. And, well, quite frankly, it's true. Let's sort of zoom in on 2017. We will sort of forget about 2020 at the moment, and we'll see how quick it really was, how quick Bitcoin actually exploded in value. And it depends on when you actually really want to start calculating that. I'd say right about here, but one could argue it started above 10,000 or 5,000 or whatever. But once it actually hit about 12,000, that was on December 5th, approximately. And by December 17th, so less than 2 weeks later, it was nearly $20,000, some $19,900. This chart says $20,001, which some exchanges may have hit $20,001, but I never really saw that. Might have shadowed up there or something like that on various exchanges. But so basically 20,000 is indeed the all-time high. So starting where 16,000 actually occurred was probably December 7th here, and by December 21st, it was less than 16,000. So that's less than 2 weeks. And then we had a slight surge right here on one day above 16,000 on the 26th. And, for a couple days in January, it was over 16,000. So I'd say if you added that up together, approximately 14 days that Bitcoin has been above 16,000, if you don't count the recent explosion above 16,000, which is basically like today. 3 reasons Bitcoin price just hit 16,000 for the first time since 2017. Now, this article is missing one, and one of those is, well, the news that removes the waiting list for all the new cryptocurrency buyers, which is huge news indeed. I'd say PayPal is one of the biggest news to ever hit cryptocurrency. And that's a strange thing to say because, of course, it's not your crypto, not your keys, not your crypto type deal. It's just merely an exchange. Paxos is holding your crypto, that sort of deal. But I would say in terms of how much it actually exploded the value, I would say it's the single greatest news that has ever hit cryptocurrency in terms of moving the price. Now, I've seen bad news move the price downward. I remember in September 2017, Bitcoin was nearly $5,000, and then all of a sudden China bans Bitcoin exchanges. They didn't ban Bitcoin, but they banned Bitcoin exchanges. And then within a week or two, Bitcoin was at $3,200. So that was a huge price movement, considering 5,000 to 3,200, close to 50% reduction in the price of Bitcoin, maybe something like 40% or so. Either way, it was a pretty savage news hit to the cryptocurrency world, although it did not last long, obviously, because it went to 20,000 a few months later. But the recent dip reset the Bitcoin derivatives market. So on November 10th, the price of Bitcoin abruptly declined to as low as 15,072. The market drop occurred merely 24 hours after it saw another major dip to 14,800, which turned traders cautious. But the drop benefited Bitcoin for 2 key reasons. First, it allowed whales to take profit on their positions at around 15,000. Second, it neutralized the futures market by flushing out late buyers or long contract holders. Resetting the futures market on the funding rate for a Bitcoin futures contract was critical for sustaining the ongoing BTC rally. Another reason, the repeated retest of 16,000 weakened the resistance. So there's always sort of like a resistance factor at every $1,000 increase of Bitcoin. You could argue that at the individual 100 jumps as well, but you can see it in the charts. Just go back and look in the charts. Anytime Bitcoin has pressed a new $1,000 mark, 9,000, 10,000, 11,000, usually it'll go above it, maybe by 100, sometimes only $20, $50, sometimes $200, and then sort of retraces back to, from 10,200 to 9,800 or 9,600. It's always this sort of thing where buyers won't know if it's going to continue over 10,000. So they start to get a little bit cautious. Less and less people are buying. Well, I don't want to buy now because I think it's going to dump soon. It just reached over 10,000. I don't know if everybody's cool with this price. And so there is always sort of this resistance level every $1,000 in Bitcoin. So even until late November 11th, the 16,000 area served as a heavy resistance level for Bitcoin. Traders pinpointed the presence of large sell orders at that resistance, indicating that whales are likely targeting this level, according to Bitcoin Trader. There's an abundance of sell orders near 16,000. Push through higher. I think it goes up 6 November top at least, and possibly higher. We have a lot of orders above 16,000 on Bitfinex. Despite the filling of large sell orders at 16,000, Bitcoin pushed through it due to repeated retests through the past week, which eventually weakened the resistance. So there's these tons of sell orders sitting at 16,000. People love those even numbers, 16,000, 17,000 sort of deal, and they're just going to pile Bitcoin at that 16,000 mark. They don't think it's going to go higher, so they pile it at 16,000. And people sort of think the same way. They just really like those even numbers. You can look on any exchange, almost any price of any cryptocurrency. There's always just these big piles of sell orders around these even amounts all the way up. And so we reached 16,000. We bought some of those big sell orders, and that sort of dumped back down. And that's usually the case. And then we tested it again and again and again, ripping those sell orders as we went, and then they got pushed back down. And then it was time to go over 16,000 today, and there just wasn't anything left there to happen. In the 14,900 whale support area held perfectly. Cointelegraph had consistently reported throughout the week that this 14,900 has become a whale support area. Data from WhaleMap shows the whale clusters form when high net worth individuals buy BTC and do not move it. The price at which those purchases cluster is then considered a support level. Despite extreme market volatility influenced by macro factors such as Pfizer's vaccine development, Bitcoin comfortably remained above 14,900. So there was just so many buy orders at 14,900 that it was just unable to go back down under that. That's sort of what I've been saying lately, and I haven't really been suggesting 14,900. In fact, I was suggesting far lower than that. But we have all these institutions now buying up Bitcoin. And they're going to be really excited to buy a big dip. So I was thinking that if Bitcoin ever went back down to 10,000, that it wouldn't really get much lower than that, because a lot of these institutions actually bought about 11,000. That's their average. I think Grayscale's average was about 11,000. So if it goes below that, they're going to be really excited to buy, because if your average is 11,000, well, then you're in profit pretty much no matter if you buy anywhere below 11,000. And we're talking millions, if not billions of dollars that they're throwing around. And they're going to be able to buy up all of that cheap Bitcoin. It's not like before, where it was just the average Joe trading, and we had these whales that would come along and sell thousands, which would scare the average traders, and everybody would start selling, and it would just sort of tumble downward. Now we actually have people ready on the reserve, on the sidelines, with effectively billions of dollars that will be able to buy it back up. So moving on to CoinMarketCap here. Already talked about it a little bit, but $16,402 Bitcoin and Ethereum doing really well at $462, down a little bit from yesterday, something about 470 some odd dollars, getting close to that $500 mark. Now, all the eyes are on Bitcoin right now. However, we're getting closer to that Ethereum 2.0 date. More and more people are putting Ethereum into the deposit contract. Remember, all the people that are putting Ethereum into the deposit contract, they cannot remove that Ethereum. It cannot be done. And it cannot be returned to the main chain until phase 1 is released, and maybe not right away. So during phase 1 is when you'll actually be able to remove that Ethereum. So it's a lot of Ethereum too. We're talking 500 and some thousand Ethereum is needed for the contract to initially begin. And rewards, percentage of staking rewards are actually 18% up to 1 million staked Ethereum. So 18% is no joke. Now, by the time 3 million Ethereum are staked, it's something like 10.45% rewards, which is still pretty good. Now, imagine 3 million Ethereum. There's only 113 million Ethereum in existence. Now, it seems like quite a bit of number. But by the time you're at 10 million staked Ethereum, the rewards are still 5%. And 10 million staked Ethereum is, well, not quite, but pretty close to 10% of all Ethereum out of the market. So by the time we have 1 million Ethereum in that deposit contract, phase one won't be coming around for supposedly, allegedly 18 months. And with Ethereum development so slow, quite frankly, Ethereum 2.0 has been in development for they've been talking about it for 2 years now. So I would imagine that it's going to take about that long, about 18 months, maybe even longer. So that's going to be stored away for a very long time. And remember, that's Ethereum being removed from DeFi markets, from exchanges like Coinbase, Binance, anything like that. It's going to be removed and never returned for something like 2 months. So all that Ethereum that's getting swapped around, no longer going to be swapped around. It's just gone. So I think $500 Ethereum is a minimum once phase 0 is actually live. I just don't see it really being much lower than that unless the entire market crashes or something like that. Again, that's a possibility in December. December is a sort of a very volatile month for cryptocurrency, and I just don't see it going below, not being above 500 unless the market crashes, and then it will be down. But I think it will still be relatively up as people are still pulling it off the markets and putting it into the deposit contract, etc. But that's all I have for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel. Share the video, helps me out a lot. My social media in the description below. Give me a follow on that if you get the opportunity to do so. And as usual, I will see you guys next time.